Gilberta is the easiest skip in all of Arknight's Endfield. Like and subscribe for more analytic takes. Now, the very first issue Gilberta has is her competition. We have a nature caster already, and we got her for free. Her name is Ardelia. Now, Ardelia serves a similar role. She has occasional grouping, not as good as Gilberta, but she does have some grouping. She has healing, which is better than Gilberta's passive healing. And they both apply and do nature damage. They can both use corrosion. And in general, she's basically a premium version of a free-to-play character we already got, as well as a signature weapon we've already got. So if you're fine with Ardelia, there's not really much point in picking up Gilberta. She's basically a different flavour. But that is far from where the problems with Gilberta ends. She basically forces you to use nature amplification, because she has nature amplification on her skill and her ultimate, meaning that you have to work around it. Now, if you're using a character like Last Riot, who needs stacks of frost amplification instead, you're basically competing. Can these characters work together? Yes, but you're basically sacrificing multiple skill points to group enemies together. Then you need to remove the nature amplification, and then, once you've triggered corrosion, can you actually start working on your strategy. This means that, unlike Ardelia, who can fit into any team, Gilberta is a bit more niche. You've got to really think, can I work with nature amplification? And if I cannot, is it worth me using the time and the resources to work around this? Now, Gilberta also has an issue where she has certain ranges of usefulness, depending on what elements you're bringing to the team and what your game plan actually is. So by that I mean, if you're using Highs or Electric, she might have a lot more value than if you're using Physical or Fire. And the reason why is that in Physical, I'm not sure how you're going to use these nature amplification stacks. And when you look at the Fire team, Gilberta's a grouper. Why do you need a grouper for when you've got a giant sword that hits the entire map with Levitate? And what really takes the cake with Gilberta and game design in general is that her whole niche revolves around gravity, pulling enemies together. Now, in Genshin, there was two characters, Venti and Kazuha. Both these characters were meta, because they sucked in massive amount of enemies, and you could AoE them down and you'd clear the content very easily. What happens if the developers say, we're going to nerf this? We're going to make enemies immune to grouping. Suddenly Gilberta has no value whatsoever, if you're purely using her for a grouper. So that's something to consider. And her group in itself is actually very weak. You've got a large amount of suction and a large area on her ultimate, but it only lasts for a couple of seconds. And her skill and combo ability are even smaller gravitational pull effects. So she is not the second coming of Kazuha or Venti, she's a bit more toned down. And furthermore, there's no current content which requires grouping. We might get some content later where this isn't necessary, but at the moment it's certainly not. And by the time that content comes around, there may be better groupers. Speaking of characters that might come later, we don't actually know which character is coming after Yvonne, and I think it's going to be Dusk, or Zong Fangyi, who basically looks like the Raiden Shogun. She looks like the Electro Archon. She looks like the Lightning God who is going to smite everything, and is going to be a massive amount of power creep. If you're not sold on the Gilberta plus Yvonne combo, go for Zangi. Because if you're going for a Lightning team, you don't have Levitain, you're not interested in Yvonne, then Zangi is probably going to be the girl who really makes your account. Gilberta has an issue where she really excels in AoE content, but if you're looking at single target, it kind of falls off a cliff. She's not terrible at single target, she'll still be useful there, especially if you're playing a Yvonne team, but it's going to lose a lot of its value because you're not grouping, you're not getting the debuff, your stagger isn't as important when you're against an enemy with a large amount of stagger rating to actually break them. Two more issues that I have with Gilberta is actually the team composition. Now, we have only two other nature characters in the entire game, Fluoride and Ardelia. Ardelia doesn't really give you the nature stacks, and Fluoride is a 4-star unit, whose kit is not amazing. She's got a 40-second cooldown on her combo skill, for example, which yes, it can be reduced in some ways, but this character is not an amazing character. She is just used because she is the best at what she currently does. As soon as we get better nature characters, she's probably off the team. The final issue I have with Gilberta is if you want to actually manually use her herself, her attacks are very, very slow, very vulnerable. They are hard to animation cancel out of, they're hard to dash out of, and her skill just leaves her open for like 3-4 seconds. So that's enough doom posting about why Gilberta may not be for you. Like and subscribe, and if you want to know why Gilberta is a fantastic character and a must pull, watch my other video right over here. Cheers.